Hi, you're listening to Light Lounge with Dimitri K, broadcasting around the world, award winners and emerging artists from the city beautiful Orlando, Florida. Almost every musical situation implies three distinct factors: a composer, an interpreter, and a listener. They form a triumvirate, no part of which is complete without the other. I'm reading a few paragraphs from a book called What to Listen For in Music by Aaron Copland. Music begins with the composer, passes through the medium of an interpreter, and ends with you, the listener. Let us begin with the composer, since music in our own civilization begins with him. What, after all, do we listen for when we listen to a composer? He need not tell us a story like the novelist. He need not copy nature like the sculptor. His work need have no immediate practical function like the architect's drawing. What is it that he gives us then? Only one answer seems possible to me. He gives us himself. Every artist's work is, of course, an expression of himself, but none so direct as that of the creative musician. He gives us, without relation to exterior events, the quintessential part of himself. And what better example would be other than listening to our guests tonight?
Whoa, whoa, yeah.
Katherine Dines is a songwriter, recording and teaching artist who has captivated family audiences throughout the globe since 1993. And is there better time of the year than now in December to talk about celebrating light, sun, candles, stars and Christmas? Welcome to Light Lounge with Dimitri K. Katherine.
Thank you for including me, Dimitri. I love your music and the fact that you are also doing these interviews. Plus, the Light Lounge title is a perfect fit for this time of year.
You're welcome, Katherine. Let's start with one of your songs called Joy.
Wherever you are in the world, happiest of holidays to you and your loved ones. Whatever, whenever, and however you celebrate, may your days be bright, your nights full of stars, and your lives full of peace, hope, love, joy, and everlasting light. Home sweet homes turn upside down when families come from miles around. It starts with Thanksgiving, then the world is a whirl of festivities. Joy, joy, joy to you and all of your loved ones too. Freckles on my cousin's hand, wrinkles on my old granddad, cooing from the high chair as we gather for supper and say a prayer, singing every song off key, dancing feet that skip the beat, eyes bright and excited when the holiday lights are ignited. Joy, joy, joy to you and all of your loved ones too. When holidays come every year, we send our wishes far and near for love to hold every heart. And that will light up the dark. Joy, oh joy, joy to you and all of your loved ones too. Joy, joy, joy to you and all of your loved ones too.
Your songs and stories, Katherine, are much more than just Christmas. They include cultures, religions, rituals, and holidays, which make them global. Tell us something more about the mission of your songwriting.
I'm a curious person and love research and learning. So teaching others through music and songwriting is one of my missions. Thanks to a love of adventure, 3 global tours with the Department of Defense, and my own travel experiences, people from other cultures inspire my songwriting in myriad ways. And now that the internet makes it so easy to explore other genres of music, I'm particularly interested in musicology, history, and possibly studying and making music in remote places with indigenous peoples.
What a noble mission given the curiosity, the help of the internet, traveling that gives the opportunity to explore cultures of the indigenous people. We're listening to Winter.
Winter dances through the trees, branches shiver without leaves, snowflakes float down from the skies. Close your sleepy eyes. Winter sings a quiet song, a lullaby from dusk to dawn. Its melody will keep you warm here inside my arms. Winter wraps the world in white. Its snow reflects the starry night. So sleep, my darling little one, until the morning comes. Winter tucks you into sleep. Off you go to slumber deep. May every dream you have come true, with love surrounding you. Winter wraps the world in white. Its snow reflects the starry night. So sleep, my darling little one, until the morning comes. Sleep, my darling little one, until the morning comes.
You created the series known as Hunkta Bunkta, Music for Growing Families, and the 13 albums have garnered a total of 41 national awards. It seems that the audience is asking for more. Tell us something about your reward.
When having my own children wasn't a possibility, I started writing lullabies. 2 were recorded on a Grammy-nominated album. After that, a publisher encouraged me to write family music, and I never stopped. As soon as I began performing concerts, working as an artist in residence, meeting teachers, and presenting workshops and keynote addresses nationwide, it was obvious how music could engage, entertain, and educate people on a number of different levels. So for me, Touching people's lives through music is the most gratifying feeling in the world, and the only reward I will ever need.
I totally agree with you. Music is a great medium. What would be the life without it? Are asking some philosophers. It can engage, entertain, and educate people at the same time. We're listening to Stars.
Light will someday split you open, even if your life is now a cage. Little by little, you will turn into stars. Little by little, you will turn into the whole sweet, amorous universe. From the year 1300, Hafiz Shamsuddin Mohammed, a Persian poet. Lift your eyes up to the skies as far as you can see. A galaxy of tiny lights surrounding you and me. From the darkness and the night, they shine on everyone. Shoot across the Milky Way or hide behind the sun. Stars are winking on between all space and time. Stars are hopes and dreams that twinkle in our eyes. When the morning sun wakes up, they quickly disappear, but they are blinking constantly, 10,000 years from here. And every star's a miracle, just like you and me, sending light throughout our lives across eternity. Stars are winking on between all space and time. Stars are hopes and dreams that twinkle in our eyes. Stars are hopes and dreams that twinkle in our eyes.
Your song The Sun Will Rise, about the Scandinavian holiday, and Nian, which is important to the Chinese New Year, certainly coming from two different cultures, and yet the excitement and exuberance is there. Do you find a correlation in how the people around the world celebrate their holidays?
Oh, yes. Since the dawn of history and in the darkest of times, people have been drawn together to celebrate transitions in their lives. In many places on our tiny planet, they bond around fires, under the moon and stars, or in front of lanterns or rooms full of candles. Most holiday traditions celebrate with light, and that light symbolizes hope, love, joy, harmony, and peace, all of which are foundations to our human condition.
Listening to Nian.
Chinese people mark the beginning of spring every year in a festival called Chongji, Spring Festival, or Chinese New Year. Chongji actually means spring roll, a delicious Chinese food. There was once a hungry monster named Nyan that lived deep in the ocean. Nyan had long, sharp fangs, a horn on its head, and the body of a lion. Its tail could take down 9 people with a single flick. On the new moon of the first lunar month, the hungry Nyan, which means year in Chinese, swam out of the sea and onto shore, gobbling up everyone in its sight. Terrified villagers ran from their homes and hid in the woods. One year, a stranger appeared and asked a girl and her grandmother if he could spend the night in their home. They tried to convince the stranger to leave the village, but he refused, promising to make the whole village safe from Nyan. The girl gave him directions to their house and said, "Please help us," and ran away. As the new moon appeared, Nyan pounced into the village. When Nyan got to the grandmother's house, the stranger opened the door. Bright red lanterns lit the entire house. Dressed in a red robe, the stranger came outside, pounding a pot with a spoon with all his might. He lit fireworks that exploded through the night sky. Nyan was terrified. It fled from the village and in a giant leap disappeared into the ocean. It was never seen again. The villagers were so relieved that Nyan was gone, they decided to mark the joyous occasion every year. Today, over 1 billion people celebrate Chinese New Year. It is the biggest global holiday on our planet. Ancestors are honored, homes are cleaned, special foods are made and shared. Red decorations and fireworks are everywhere. The festival lasts 15 days. Yawn! A monster so strong came from the sea to eat everyone. Long, sharp teeth, a horn on its head, its powerful tail filled everyone with dread. Yawn, terrified of lights, despised red color and noises at night. Villagers hung red lanterns all around and exploded fireworks with a deafening sound. Yawn ran away to escape, and that's what the Chinese celebrate. They drove away Nyan far into the night till it disappeared forever out of sight. Chinese New Year, red and loud and bright, Nyan.
Katherine, you're an award-winning musician and also you studied anthropology, which studies existing cultures and human behavior, traditions, prehistorical cultures and life ways. Adding music to all those somehow create a signature for your music and mission statement. Is that how you were planning to see yourself as a creator?
Actually, Dimitri, just like old bones, those other studies and interests are usually buried. In fact, you are the first person to have ever mentioned my past interests in an interview. So, thank you. You nailed the way I would like to see myself as a creator. Someone who has an open heart, mind, and spirit, and who has a sincere appreciation to keep exploring people, places, and histories. After all, we are all only here because we are standing on the shoulders of our elders and the experiences of all those who have gone before us.
When music exudes open mind, heart, and spirit as yours, it will never fail to touch the listeners' hearts. Let's listen to Snowflake.
Snowflake, snowflake, where will you land? On top of my head or back of my hand?
maybe on my arm or the tip of my toe. Snowflake, snowflake, where did you go? Snowflake, snowflake, why won't you freeze? Tummy, tum, tum, or in front of my knees. Maybe you will fall on my tongue or nose. Snowflake, snowflake, where did you go? Snowflake, snowflake, up in the skies, fluttering down in front of my eyes. I try to catch you on my chinny chin chin, but you disappear when you touch my skin.
Wait, where'd you go? Come back here.
Snowflake, snowflake, please will you stay and stick to my mittens or hat all day? Maybe you will wait while the cold winds blow. Snowflake, snowflake, where did you go? Snowflake, snowflake, you are unique, an intricate pattern of diversity. Maybe it's time to let yourself show.
Oh, look how beautiful you are.
Snowflake, snowflake, where did you go? Snowflake, snowflake, up in the skies, fluttering down in front of my eyes. Winter's gonna last for quite a spell. Snowflake, snowflake, please don't melt. Snowflake, snowflake, why did you melt?
Restless souls like Katherine Dines never stop doing what they like and what makes them the person we know. What is the next creative avenue for you, Katherine?
Ha ha ha! I am definitely a restless soul, so hoping to explore music in faraway places. I'm particularly interested in indigenous cultures. It might be difficult in that our world in its globalness is also pretty tribal, and I want to make sure I'm not seen as appropriating a culture or musical genre. So that's my challenge, and I look forward to embracing it.
In your musical expressions, you have found your personal balance, obviously, so you are on the right path to continue doing what you do. We're listening to The Sun Will Rise.
In the far north, there is little sunlight in winter. During the early 400s, Scandinavian people there celebrated the coming of spring in a 12-day festival called Yule. They cut down large trees and built huge fires. Stories say that the bigger logs would create more sparks, bringing them larger families, more animals in their flocks, and better crops. The fields are white and frozen, all the trees are bare, yet hiding in the snow are crops to grow and share. So dance around the firelight, and on this darkest night, count the sparks as they fly by, the Yule logs burning bright. The sun will rise, the sun will rise, the sun will rise again. And the sun will rise, the sun will rise, and the sun will rise again. The nights are black and longer, the days are colder still, but spring will bring the warmth back and flowers to the hill. So dance around the firelight, and on this darkest night, count the sparks as they fly by, the Yule logs burning bright. The sun will rise, the sun will rise, the sun will rise again. The sun will rise, the sun will rise, the sun will rise again. sun will rise again.
Thanks for stopping by and sharing with us your creative process, Katherine, and for those who are interested about your music, where it can be found. And now, from the listeners of Light Lounge with Dimitri K, let's wish Katherine Dines happy holidays and great success with her music and mission.
Dimitri, thank you so much for this opportunity to talk all about me, myself, and I. People can find my work on most all digital platforms, as well as my website, www.hunktabunkta.com. That's www.hunktabunkta.com, along with a story about where that phrase came from. I appreciate your thoughtful questions, which have encouraged me to think about which creative direction I might go from here as a songwriter, performing, and teaching artist. Dimitri, many thanks again, and here's wishing you much continued success.
Thank you, Katherine. I also enjoyed your thoughtful answers to my questions, and if our conversation sparked a thought of your next creative direction, that's even more positive. And for the end of the interview, let's enjoy one more song from Katherine Dines, Somewhere in the World.
Since the dawn of history, humans have marveled at the sun's daily rising, the moon's pull on the oceans, and the stars' position in our galaxy. And we have created many holidays around their light. Let's travel through time and space and celebrate some of them together. Ready? On our tiny planet, there are special days, holiday traditions, people celebrate the birth of baby Jesus, the miracle of lights, Diwali, Kwanzaa, Ramadan, or the longest night. Somewhere in the world, as it's spinning around, there is laughter and music. What a beautiful sound. Somewhere in the world, there is bright harmony, bringing hope to all people, joy, comfort, and peace. Holidays have stories, songs and histories, woven in a blanket of lasting memories. So light another candle with family and friends, and share in celebration together once again. Somewhere in the world, as it's spinning around, there is laughter and music. What a beautiful sound. Somewhere in the world,
Life is better than listening to a commercial radio station playing endlessly a few resembling songs. If you feel that way, you came at the right place. Light Lounge with Dimitri K plays the best award winners and independent artists around the world. At the beginning of the show, we spoke about the correlation between composer, interpreter, and listener. Let me quote one more paragraph. Always remember that when you listen to a composer's creation, you are listening to a man, to a particular individual with his own special personality. And now, our next guest is Rasa Vitkauskaite, award-winning Lithuanian pianist, Steinway artist, Boston Philharmonic pianist and Grammy voter member. Welcome to Light Lounge with Dimitri K. Rasa.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction, Dimitri. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you today.
Let's start with listening to Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker. When I was listening to your album A Concert Piano Christmas at Boston Symphony Hall, I was impressed by the fine fingering, phrasing and articulation, along with all other expressive features. Yet the album is so diversified in authors' choices. What is your selection approach to putting together such a fine project?
I'll start by saying that I never thought I would have a Christmas CD in my discography. A few years ago, my husband actually presented the idea to me, and initially I thought he was totally crazy. You know, I always considered myself a very traditional classical pianist, and I never thought that I would find enough music, enough holiday music that was arranged for a concert piano that would be enjoyable and challenging at the same time to play. We recorded the album at the Boston Symphony Hall, which is one of the most well-known classical music halls in the world. So I wanted to make sure that every single track that I record is going to be of the absolute top quality. As you know, there are many, many CDs featuring piano in a holiday setting, but few arrangements appear to match the caliber expected of a concert pianist, and that's what exactly we were looking for. We hope that this album will help fill the void of classical piano masterpieces.
And yet, though the initial hesitation, you did one very accomplished Christmas album melting genres in the spirit of the holidays. Congratulations for that. We're listening to Christmas Carol Medley. I'm going over some of the reviews you have received for the last years of your artistic activities and see that you have been hailed for artistry of poetic and observant sensitivity. Gramophone magazine, and dubbed as a Beethoven interpreter of penetrating insight, Fanfare magazine. You were also invited to join the prestigious Steinway artist roster, performed in over 30 countries, acclaimed pianist of the Boston Philharmonic Orchestra. In the multicolored artistic life, how do you prioritize?
It is certainly not an easy task. I am fortunate to have a family that's very understanding and supportive and makes a huge difference. But certainly those who are in the music business know it very well that these days it's not enough just to play your instrument and be the master of your craft. You actually need to have a lot of different skills to support your artistic endeavors. In the case of the Christmas album, I was very lucky to work with a team of people who are real experts of their field, such as four-time Grammy-winning engineer Brad Michael, producer Jonathan Kohler, photographer Lisa Marie Masuko. They really made sure that every smallest detail was taken care of, which made my life a lot easier and allowed me to focus mainly on the music, which is always great.
Most definitely, the small details create the big picture. And the choice of a great team is indispensable, as you mentioned. In your album, you have included from the classical Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker to jazzy connotation Have Yourself a Merry Christmas and traditional in between. What was the driving force behind your choices?
As I mentioned before, it actually took me quite some time to come up with enough arrangements to fill an entire album. Each time I would come across an arrangement that I thought was worthy of learning and playing, I would be so excited. I remember coming across Andrew Gentile's incredible arrangement of the Sleigh Ride for the first time, and I just had to get the sheet music and start practicing because it was such a joy to hear it. The same happened with Jacob Kohler's jazzier arrangements of holiday favorites such as Oh Christmas Tree or Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I just wanted to keep the fun in the holidays and not make the album to be too serious that's catered only for the classical music lovers. I think the album has a little bit of everything for all tastes. You know, you can hear bits and pieces of New Age music and Carol of the Bells. You also hear some very traditional classical music like Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker or the last piece on the album by Franz Liszt. It's a beautiful arrangement of Schubert's Ave Maria. There's also a fantastic Christmas carol medley by Kyle Landry that finishes with this fantastic display of virtuosity with O Holy Night. So we hope with this album that everybody will find a little something that's enjoyable and just fun and unique to hear for the holidays.
During the holidays, one family could be a diversified audience. Parents, kids, grandparents, catching the fun of the holidays with a little bit of something for all. It's so important, and you did outstanding job. You're coming from a small country, Lithuania. Your family suffered the Russian oppression after the World War II, and yet they found the courage to fight back. What is the reflection of your Lithuanians' background to your current life in the United States?
Everyone in Lithuania has been affected by the Russian occupation in one way or another. My grandparents were deported to Siberia shortly after the Second World War. My mom was born there. My dad, on the other hand, was heavily involved in defending Lithuania from the attempted Russian takeover in the early 90s. Lithuania was the first country to declare independence from Soviet Union, and shortly thereafter they've tried to take it over again. So my father was part of the unarmed human shield that defended the parliament and the TV tower in the capital of Vilnius. So I'm very proud of my family's history and the resilience that they've showed over the years. During the occupation, celebrating Christmas was actually a forbidden act. So with my album, I want to celebrate the freedoms that we have in this country and now also in Lithuania. I also want to make sure I share my family's history so that people are aware of the horrors that come with one's country being occupied. I have also been very outspoken about the senseless war in Ukraine because I know firsthand what those people are going through. I want to encourage everybody to continue supporting their fight for freedom. The war in Ukraine has triggered a devastating humanitarian crisis. While many of us prepare for the holidays, millions are actually struggling to survive. We really must do everything we can to stop the aggression.
I totally agree with you that the aggressor must be stopped. I myself am originally from Bulgaria, a country that suffered from the same aggressor after the World War II. And even one of my recent albums, An Immigrant in New York, describes the life of a person who wanted to escape the oppression and cross the ocean to find his freedom in the United States. You are a classically trained musician, and the beauty of classical music is that by itself it is an endless source of excitement. What is next on your creative avenue, Rasa?
I actually just played a concert with the Boston Philharmonic Orchestra at Symphony Hall. I've been the principal pianist of the orchestra for the past 15 years, and it's always a great joy to play with this group. I particularly admire their excitement and passion for music. I'm also in the process of recording the complete Beethoven violin sonatas with violinist Ilya Kahler, who is the violin professor at the Cleveland Institute of Music. Ilya is the only person in the world to win the first prize at 3 major violin competitions, the Tchaikovsky, Sibelius, and Paganini. So he's an incredible person to do this project with. We actually just finished recording the first set of the sonatas. We are recording at the Charlene Liu Performance Center in Rockport, which provides a unique and inspiring backdrop to our performances. Next year will also feature a new CD with world-renowned clarinetist Jonathan Kohler, who was actually the producer of my Christmas album. Jonathan is a very versatile musician who can play, conduct, teach, record, engineer, produce. So it's always a lot of fun to work with him because he is an expert in so many different fields. This particular recording is going to feature Brahms Clarinet Sonatas Opus 120, along with works by Robert and Clara Schumann. So I'm very excited for this upcoming release as well.
Those are pretty ambitious projects, and from your excitement approaching them, I'm sure the end result will be fabulous. And now, from the Nutcracker again, let's listen to the Waltz of the Flowers. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing with the listeners your exciting new album, A Concerto Piano Christmas at Boston Symphony Hall. And for those who are interested about your music, where it can be found. And now from the listeners of Light Lounge with Dimitri K, let's wish Rasa Vitkauskaite happy holidays and great continuing success in her career.
Thank you very much for having me. Those who'd like to check out the album, it can be found on my website at rasapiano.com. Rasa is spelled R-A-S-A. You can also follow me on Instagram at rasapiano. So wishing everybody a very festive, joyous, and peaceful holiday season and a lot of exquisite music in the new year.
You're listening to Light Lounge with Dimitri K. It's time to say goodbye. And remember, hesitation is temporary, music lasts forever. Most of the artists you heard on this show are independent artists. And if you like some of them, you can Google the name and find them on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and the rest of the digital media, and that would be a great support for them. For any comments, suggestions, and feedback, please email me at kopublishing@gmail.com. I'm Dimitri K, broadcasting from the city beautiful Orlando, Florida.
Hey John, is that the blue cat you're talking about?